This idea may be a throwback to your school days of construction paper art when you did paper weaving. It's not a new idea at all, but it's new to me to think about using it in my junk journals. So these are a couple I did earlier. This is the first one I did. I saw a video made by Martha, and she was showing how she did this technique. And I was really intrigued by it. So I decided to give it a try, and I thought I'd take you along with me in doing so. You don't really need many supplies for this at all. A pair of scissors or a paper trimmer if you want to do that. Or you could even just tear your strips by hand if you decided to do that. This is really good for all those little offcuts we have, like this, and this, and that, and that. You know what I'm talking about. All those things that you end up having little pieces. And I found, just with my little experiment there, that the best width is somewhere between 1/4 of an inch and 1/2 an inch. And I kind of lean toward the 1/2 an inch. It goes a little faster, and I think it makes, I don't know, I just like the way it looked better. So that's what I'm going to do. This is just a ledger page out of one of those books. I'm going to cut some strips this way, which would be, if you were weaving on a loom, it would be a warp this way, and then you weave your weft through it this way. Same deal. So I'm going to put this back over here. I'm going to need that right now. I've already cut some strips of various things here. And what Martha did was she curved hers down across the page like that, and it looked really nice. So I may just do that too on this one. And this is going to be kind of easy to cut with these lines on here. I'm just going to go make a pretty good edge on it. I'm going to bring this one up tall to about right there and go over here. In the first two, you want these to be close together so that you can weave the paper evenly in there, if that makes sense. In other words, bring it up to the same level there. And then the next one, you can come down lower, the next two, so that when you weave across, it makes a smoother curve there, if you will. A tip that I'm really trying hard to go by is not to, when I'm cutting, not to look right here where the scissors are making the cut, but to look out here where I want to go, so that I'm aiming toward that. And it's kind of like shooting a gun. You aim toward what you want to shoot, not toward looking at the end of the barrel. So that's what I'm really trying to get used to doing, because I tend to want to look back here where I'm cutting. So anyway, we're just going to keep bringing this up. And I've only done a few of these, so this is, I'm jumping off the deep end here with you to do this. Also, don't do what I just did on that one and go all the way to the end of the scissors and snip it, because that causes a little cut, sideways cut there that you don't really want. Okay, let's see. I need to do this one, and I guess one more. See where I am. My light is not the best. It's kind of a gloomy day. I went a little high there, but it doesn't matter too much. You can just go across and it'll be fine. I don't think I'm going to cut that next one. I think I'm just going to let my papers come across to there. And then you just start up at the top, and I'm going to go under this strip to begin with. And on this, it's not going very far, so you can use really short little strips, like even like that one. I'm going to use this one. You can use like all shades of neutrals if you want to do that, or you can have a pop of color in it, or you can say shades of blue or something like that. Okay, I like to leave it just sticking out a little bit on either side. I'm going to cut this off over here just so it kind of stays in place. You can go ahead and glue it. A little premature for the first strip, but further down you could go ahead and glue if you wanted to do that. I'm going to see how this color looks with that. It's a little bit darker than that, so I think that'll be fine. And then on this one, you want to go under this outside strip, over that strip, under this one. And that's as far as you're going to go with that one. And I like to just bring that across there. And then I'm going to cut this again here. And let's see. If you want to, you can plan a little better than I did and have your strips in order of where you want to place them. And I'm gonna cut this off a little bit. I kind of like this. Book page is another fun thing to include if you want to do that. This is just something that has text on it. And it goes over this one and under that one. It's just over, under, over, under. I'm sure that you've probably done a little bit of this sometime in your life if it's paper weaving or some other kind of weaving. You may be a weaver, and it's the same principle. Okay, let's see. I want to put something in there that's a little bit different. Maybe this one. This one's thinner. And you can do that too. It doesn't have, all your weft pieces do not have to be the same width. You can add in thinner ones if you want to every now and then. And the variety, to me, is kind of what makes it fun. And we'll go there and out over that one. Trim this off again. Okay. Now those are kind of neutral tones there. So maybe now I want to put in this pop of pink. Maybe I don't. Maybe I want to go down another one or so. Let's see what I've got here. This is kind of neutral. This is kind of a pea green yellow color. But I think with this green ledger paper, it looks nice. Another thing you could do is use magazine pages that have colorful pictures, or books that have colorful pages in them. Maps would make good pieces to weave in. Lots of options. I have this children's book that I've been cutting some pages out of to use, and it's got a lot of colorful designs in it. So I may just take a piece. Let's see if I can find one I think would be good in here. Maybe like this. Just the edge of this has some pretty colors in it. And then just going to cut a strip. Not too straight, I'm afraid, but we'll see how it goes. That's okay. It has all kinds of colors. Other things, I mean, I had these pages. This piece was what I cut some off of. It was just, it had glue on it and some stamping off my stamps, slapping off some paint. I had some gold paint there that I'd kind of used it as a palette to paint on something else, and I used some of that. I put that in my crazy art journal, and I'll show that to you in a little bit. And this is a dictionary page that I had stamped on. Again, stamping off my ink and just trying out some stuff, and I thought that might work too. In fact, maybe I'll take a piece of that off. I might have to go long ways on it now. And I'm going to cut the white edge mostly off of that. Now this paper is much thinner than the other papers, and I think that's still okay to do that because once you weave it in, it's gaining strength from the paper that you're weaving into and the other weft pieces that you're putting in the paper, in your weaving. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this one in next, I think. And I don't want that white out there, but I don't mind the word. Okay, we're going under again on the first warp there. And let's push that up there. Okay, and then I think I'll put the pink in. Actually, I'm gonna put this thin pink in. Since I have a thin piece up there, I think that it might, since it's pink, it'd be kind of interesting to do it that way. Like a thin pop of color there. Now see how far I cut up there. I shouldn't have done that, but I'm just going to ignore that and just keep doing what I'm doing down here. I was talking and not paying attention, which is not unusual. Okay. Trim those back. And you could weave on out even with that if you wanted to, not paying attention to what I've done here with my, I was coming down and then I started going too high. But that's okay. We'll go back to this color. And it helps when you glue everything down to kind of hold it, to hold weaving into place. I'm going to put this piece in too, even though it's kind of the same thing as that right now. So maybe I'll add another neutral piece. This one will be good. And then I'll add that one in. Okay. Cut that one off too. And I'm probably going to put something on the back of that to reinforce that place where that's bouncing up there. I think I like that color in there too. It makes me want to warp my loom up and do some weaving. I weave on a little rigid heddle loom, so, and I haven't been doing much of that since I've been doing junk journalings. So I kind of would like to get back to that also. So many art things in so little time, as I say. Okay. Now, I guess on the bottom, on the rest of this, I can just go all the way across, and that will take care of that. I'm going to put this piece in. It's a thin piece. I'm going to use it too. Anyway, I think you get the idea of how this goes, and I can just finish this one up, and then I'll show you a couple of other ones I've done and some ideas I had on decorating them further. Okay, what do we want on the bottom? Something to stabilize it. I'm going to pull this back in to put this in at the bottom. It's the same as that. And I cut it a little bit wider to finish this off. Now you can do this in a book, like just do one of your journal pages this way, or you can do it separately on a piece of paper. This is a page that I would put in a book, but you could just do a little patch weaving and put it in your journal. And you can make pockets, tuck spots, all kinds of things like that. You know, whatever you would like to do with it. I had some other ideas. What were they? A tag. You can make a tag with it. And I think that would be really fun to have too. This is a guest check that I put. I cut my warp threads, not threads, but strips this way. And I wove this one. I started up here and came down. I marked it so that I'd have a pyramid shape there. But you could do that on a tag, or you could do the same thing as this at the bottom of a tag, or down the side of a tag. You could just cut a couple of strips and just do a strip down the side. Just any fun thing that you wanted to do with it. And to finish this up, what I did, you can use a glue stick for this. I found that to be a little bit hard to get the glue stick under the under these strips and glue it down. This is just some of this Turbo Tacky glue by Aleene's brand. And then I put it in this little bottle. It has this needle nose point that makes it easier to get the glue where you want it to go. If it'll come out, that's the deal. And this is basically just to hold your papers in place so that your weaving doesn't fall apart. You could also, you might have a difficult time getting it unless you glued part of it down or taped it or did something to hold it in place. But you could take it to your sewing machine if you wanted to do that and just sew around it. And that would be a fun way to complete it. Anyway, you've seen gluing. I'm going to skip over this part and come back and show you. I think it's kind of fun to have some of the words in there. I don't know, just for the fun of it, to kind of show that there's a sentence going on, even if you don't know what it says. That's just me. You can do whatever you want to do, obviously. Okay. I will finish this up and be right back. Okay, I got all my ends glued down. I glued here, wherever it was loose at either end. And as I was doing that, I was able to push this up enough that I added this brown strip at the bottom. What I'm going to do now is trim this off even with the bottom of the page and trim these back. And I haven't decided yet. In a way, I kind of like that little fringe sticking out, but I'm not sure about that. I may just leave it for the time being. And what I did where I cut those up too tall is I just put some Scotch tape on there and fixed it. And it's not the best solution, but this is just for my journal, so, you know, it's not like I'm going to do anything fancy with it. And I'm just going to trim this off even with this bottom of the page there. I don't know how good a job I did on that, but hopefully it'll be good enough. And then I'm going to trim these back at least to there. And there. I think that one is too long also. That is an idea of how to do it on a page. And since I made the mistake to begin with of cutting too far up, you can take my mistake and use it to your benefit to not do the same thing I did and make these cut too tall up there. What you want to do is have it come down, or, you know, it can come down however you want it to, but you don't want this part going back up again unless maybe you plan to weave some of that, and you could do that as well if you wanted to. It's just really all up to you, however you want to create it. And I'm going to put a little glue there and press that down. I just want to make a quick tag out of this piece of black paper. This is just some art paper. It's not very thick, so it won't make a very strong tag, but I can put something on the back to reinforce it. But I thought it would be fun to have just a little bit of this weaving in the corner here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do what I did before. I'm going to cut up about that far. And then I'm going to come down about like that. And there. Like that. And I think that's all I'm going to do on that one. I thought it would be fun to have bright colors on here. I'll cut a piece of this off that has the stamping on it that's bright. I'll just go ahead and cut it all the way. It's kind of wide, but that's okay. Here's a piece of this. I'm going to go over. No, I need to go this way. I need to go here. Let's cut this back just a little bit narrower. And this one I want to go over this and under this second piece here, like that. And then I want to put, I think for the fun of it, I'm going to use a little bit of this seam binding and just put that in there. Well, I'll just cut that off. Okay, this would go under here and over that one. And it gets a little bit fiddly with the thinner papers. Stiffer paper would probably work better. Get under there. You have to talk strongly. Strong words to follow. Okay, and I want that to go across there. Like that. And then probably have room for a couple of thinner pieces. Use this blue piece here. It goes over that. And over that one. And there. Like that. And then just something narrow on the bottom. If there's room for this, I think I'll use it because it's got that gold on it. I kind of like that. Okay, that's going to go over that. Not quite long enough. I'll use this right here. And like that. Okay. I really like the way that looks. I may try to get that over here. So under this and over that. Okay. Now I'm going to glue these down before they move too much. And I'll turn that off too. And the back needs to be glued there too. And glue this. That's shifted on me, so I have to get it back in place. That. And then that needs to go back under there. And then I need to trim off the bottom too on this. Get that glued. And just because I kind of like the way that looks, I'm just going to let that extend out there. Okay, and now I'm going to trim off the bottom here. I think I'm going to trim this back to there. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. Like that. And I don't know what I'm going to do with that little pink ribbon there. I may let it stick out. And do these. Okay. And I'm just going to trim this across here, even with that. And I'm going to cut this into a tag shape up here. And take that and fold it back to the other side. Line it up. Cut that. Oops. I'm not sure I got those even. They always look uneven to me when I do them. But anyway. So I thought for this it'd be pretty to have, I've got some of these big floral stickers that I thought might be fun to put on this black one. And on the back, you can either place a piece of paper back there to write on, or I have some gel pens that a friend gave me that I think it'd be really fun to, I kind of like that one, to, no, I like that one best, to write on it with a gel pen. Like I wrote this on just on the black paper. It's this kind of gel pen, and she had these colors. I use the light color, but on the black, the light shows up really well. I don't know what, let's see what this does. Let's write paper again. That one kind of disappears into the black. You can't really see it. So a light color is best. The pink would work also, I'm sure. This one would. It didn't write very smoothly, but anyway. So that's an option on that. And I don't know. I have these pens too that I got. And some of these colors are real light. Like this is a kind of a lavender color. No, that's not going to show up. So gel pens, I think, would be the way to go. A white gel pen would work as well. I have some of those. I think I'm going to put that on there. And I don't want to take that paper all the way off because I'd like to have it sticking up above there. So I'm going to draw this line on here so I know where to take the paper to. And if you like this side better, you could just use the back side too. It's an option. Make them come. This may be a mistake to leave that kind of slick paper on there. It may peel off later. I don't know. But for now, that's what I'm going to do. So I think that's a fun tag. I like that. Let me show you the other things I've done besides this one that we just finished. I haven't put anything on that yet. I'm not sure what I would put on that. You could just put like paper over it to write on, or you could write over that if your colors aren't too strong. This is the guest check that I did. I haven't put anything over that. You could add something to it, put a topper on it or whatever. This one, I made it as a pocket, and I was thinking I'd put a thumbhole here and then have this. And then I was pulling out some of these little Tim Holtz people and tags and things. And I saw this little guy. And I thought it would be cute to put him on there. And it could be a side tuck from either side. Or you could even cut it down a little bit if you wanted to. But that was a thought on that one. And then this is the one I did originally, my first one this is my crazy art journal that I've got some art things in it. It's just a piece of notebook paper, and I had used a brayer and rubbed off some paint. I think I was stenciling somehow. I don't even know what I was doing then. And there was some gold paint down here too. So I just used some of this page. I cut some of those strips and put it on there. And this one, I was thinking back here for these ladies, perhaps. And on this side, I had this little dancing girl. And since the pink and the flowers and stuff, I thought it might be fun to have her on there. And it didn't take up all the page. I was thinking this lady kind of looks like her in a way. I mean, you could say that this is a more grown-up version of this little dancing girl, and that she's thinking about her youth. And I mean, she's not that old, obviously, but just another time or something. Just an idea. You know, think of all kinds of ways to decorate. So anyway, I hope that gave you some ideas, and your mind is whirring with other ways that you could use this to use in your journals. So thanks so much for watching, and I wish you a very happy new year, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.